Carly, are you still there? I'm late. I'm 25 minutes late for my own podcast. The nerve of me. Okay. We're going to do things a little bit differently. Instead of Tina sitting around waiting for people to show up, I want to say hello and welcome to the news of our synchronized universe. Because there's no other way you can explain this synchronicity within the divine universe. Oh, uno momento. I'm glad I took my shorts off and put my pants on. One moment. Okay. Well, all right. Okay, so this is going to be about the energy of the year, and also, let me fix this. This is going to be the energy of our year, and it's also going to be the energy of the next 18 months. But first, I want to say hello, and I want to welcome you to the synchronized universe that we live in. Every day, through messages, through synchronicities, and all of this, I am absolutely blown away by the never-ending, seemingly amount of connections that happen through numerology. And many people don't believe that 3-3 or 4-4, 12-12 portal means anything. They believe that there's no significance, that this is just a bunch of made up crap. Okay. Hello and welcome, Carly, and hello and welcome to Colette. But the magic and the mystery that keeps coming through to me over and over and over again is that we live on a synchronized planet within a synchronized body within a synchronized universe. So welcome to the land of make-believe. Right now, I'm going to make believe that people are already tuned in, and I'm going to avoid the lag time, which basically means I'm going to avoid doing any technical crap that I'm physically incapable of doing. Here's one thing that has been a really momentous observation that I have made about myself and my videos. Bear with me one second. We're going to get this camera right. Still getting used to using a different camera. This is my no drama llama. I went running today and it was like 29 degrees, but the wind chill factor made it feel like 18. There's that number again that I love so much, number 18. So the synchronicity designed into the planet, the zodiacs, the Chinese New Year, the Chinese zodiac, it's all very, very mind-blowing. And what I'm going to attempt to do here is explain a little bit of the puzzle that I've been putting together. Okay. So first thing that I want to say that I feel like is super, super important is that what I've noticed through doing videos and through making this channel and doing tarot for free on Facebook and through doing videos here and through doing videos or writing articles in general, what I've noticed is people would like or people want a certain kind of information from me. Okay. If we look at the videos that are top performers, is it the real David Wilcock or a clone? Alien abduction, the evacuation plan, things like that. Okay. So what I've noticed through this is certain People want a certain kind of information from me. And sometimes I will flat out, straight out, especially if you're getting a reading from me, give you a straight up information. Okay, sometimes I'll do that. But mostly what I'm giving you is the energy or the temperature of Earth. Okay, so the energy and temperature of Earth affects you in a very grand way, in case you haven't figured that out. Now, a lot of people understand or comprehend that in the context of, oh, wow, there's all these X-class flares, you know, exploding off of the sun, and I recognize how it affects me and how it affects people around me, perhaps how it affects the global stock market, or the global temperature of Earth. But there are not quite as many people outside of the realm of solar information, KP index, or solar storms that are realizing the significance that numerology, astrology, tarot, all those different things are affecting us, because they are all part and parcel of the exact same thing. So each one of these tools of divination was designed specifically to take you back, to plant you back, or land you back in the root of what is truly happening, right? So I can tell you it's a number 9 year. I can tell you in a tarot reading that you have the Hermit energy, which is number 9, which is Virgo. But all of these things intrinsically are connected so deep in a mathematical or quantum or geometric way that it absolutely blows my mind. The more I learn and the more I know, I never get tired of watching tarot. I never get tired of doing tarot. I never get tired of studying tarot. I never get tired of looking at the numbers, not only of the day and the effects of that, but also of the year. But what I've noticed throughout this process of writing and making videos is that people want a very specific set of information for me. Okay. But again, mostly what I'm giving you is the temperature of Earth. So you will need to take that energy or that temperature that I'm giving you and apply it to whatever information you are seeking, whether you're seeking personal information about your relationships, whether you're wanting to receive information about, when the reset will happen. All you have to do is take this energy and apply it. So I'm trying to present things in a more macrocosmic or universal section of the galaxy way to you, as opposed to spelling it out, slicing it down, and kind of feeding you information, little bits of information at a time. And people really do prefer that when I tell you exactly what I mean. But if I want to tell you exactly what I mean about your love life, about the planet, about politics, about the sun, about the governmental reset, I could be here for 9 or 12 hours on each individual. So instead of doing that, instead of giving you a certain set of information, I'm giving you the energy or the temperature or the perimeters of that information so that you yourself can apply it to anything. So I'm not intentionally trying to be vague with information. I'm trying to give you the tool that you need so you can say, here's the temperature, here's the numerology, and then you can apply it to whatever part of your personal life or the world stage that you want. Okay. And like I said, I do realize and recognize that people would sometimes prefer information to come in bits and pieces for me to tell you exactly what's going to happen with what. But this is a time of creation and co-creation and massive creativity. And it's a lot more magical, I find, that if you get information from your higher self, or you come to these incredible realizations or revelations on your own, knowing what the energy is and how we work at that. Because again, people would prefer me to come here and talk about a certain genre of things or give answers about a certain thing. But what I'm giving you is mostly the energy or the temperature of Earth. And you will need to take that temperature, you will need to take that energy and apply it to whatever information you're seeking, whether personal or on the world stage. Okay. So I'm not walking up to you and giving you the pie, so to speak, but rather the list of ingredients so that you can understand the recipe. I could walk up and give you the pie, but the piece of pie that Carly might want might be different than the piece of pie that Colette wants, or that Lena wants, or that Susan wants, or that anybody wants. So instead of walking up and giving you the pie, so to speak, I'm giving you the temperature or the list of ingredients so that you can understand the recipe. God, or source, or creation itself, is a complex set of numbers. It's an ever-changing geometry or math. And I am so intrigued by so many things that I don't wish to study and actually have a degree in, right? Like numerology or astrology or anything else, because again, it feels like so much more of a magical recipe or formula when it comes to me in a natural, organic way, in which it comes through to me. But God's source energy is a complex set of sacred geometry. You, of course, can change your course, and you can change your direction any day, any week, any month, any year. But looking at the numbers and looking at the planetary temperature or looking at the planetary theme, that's where that geometry, that numerology gives you the most momentum for change. So you can switch jobs, start a new relationship. You can do anything you want at any time you want. But the point of this telling you about the energy for this year and the next 18 months is so that you can apply that individually or on the world stage in the way that you see fit to, so to speak, make things happen for you. Okay. We're looking at when is there the most momentum for change. So now I want to talk to you about the energy of this year and the energy of the next 18 months. And this was a lot of information that I wrote down, and I'm going to try to not be my normal Virgo personality self and, just read this information off to you. But I do want to start with something, because this type of information surrounding numerology, or so numerology is built on sacred geometry. Astrology is nothing more than a breakdown of ingredients of what that geometry is. And sometimes we don't want to fully understand that or study that to understand the breakdown. That's why so many people watch, the forecast for astrology. Now, I do want to start with this. And you guys, let me know how the sound is, would you? If there's anybody here, because my microphone is not where it should be, because I just keep forgetting. Hold on. That was weird. Okay, the light went off. Hello, Nadine. How are you? Of course you did. You know, my magnetic personality is always screwing with electronics. I had it sitting to the side, so now I have it over here where it should be, and I'll try not to touch anything. My general rule of thumb when I go live is just don't touch it. Hi, Nadine. How are you doing? So, whether you believe a portal has, any real relevance or any real significance, and you may just think, oh, so what? It's a double 3, or so what? It's a double 12. But what I'm saying to you is numerology was based off of sacred geometry movements that the ancients understood for millions of years. Astrology is built off of the template of numbers. It's nothing more than numbers. Now, when an astrologist is breaking it down for you, they're giving you the individual breakdown of each piece of that pie or each piece of that Star of David, so to speak. So these things are a very big significance. And okay, good, you can hear me. And I hope that this will make sense, because sometimes when I get messages or channel things or write things down, I look at this and go, how am I going to make this make sense to anyone? Okay. So the first thing I want to tell you is that throughout the years, but very specifically for the last 3 months, I have really not been feeling the whole new year. And I'll first tell you that I rarely never celebrate the new year. Certainly not the way everyone else does. But also, it doesn't feel like the new year, the last day of December working into January for me. It's never felt like the new year. And because I'm a walker and a runner and a swimmer and everything else, because I'm always outside, what I've always noticed is the middle of March always feels like the new year to me. And I know that, we are working on a Gregorian calendar, and the Gregorian calendar was set to appease and work around things for the Vatican. So the Gregorian calendar says that the new year starts on January 1st of 2025. But the Chinese calendar says that January 29th, 2025 is actually the new year, and their date changes around moon calculations. Okay. So the Gregorian calendar says January 1st, Happy New Year. And the Chinese says Happy New Year on January 29th. Or we could go back to the original sky map that's over 5,000 years old. And I suspect that it's actually millions of years old. But when I Googled it to find out, or looked on the internet to see how old the calendar actually is, it says 5,000 years. So, okay, for over the last 5,000 years, New Year's has begun on March 21st. So we could go back to the original sky map that's over 5,000 years old, which says both the zodiac and the year begins in Aries season. So according to that, then March 20th would be New Year's Eve, and March 21st would be New Year's Day. Okay. So for over 5,000 years, the new year began March 21st. Now, I will also tell you, and I'm not saying this, to chastise anyone, or say that you're celebrating the date on the wrong date, because it really doesn't matter. You could decide that New Year's was going to be September 18th for you, and you could conjure up the energy of the new year then, because, we're very powerful as a humanity. But just to say that wherever your attention goes, that's where the energy flows. So whenever you celebrate the new year, there will be newness, there will be a restart, and there will be flow. But there will be much more flow and much more new energy on the actual start of the new year, because of the sky alignments, because of the geometry that the ancients understood and used to create these calendars. Okay, and that was a Facebook post that I wrote. And let me make sure, because we all know how much of a genius I am. Okay, my phone is actually turned on silent. So what I want you to understand is, with that being said about the new year, again, wherever the attention flows, energy goes. You could decide to celebrate the new year, any day, any week, any month, anytime you wanted to. Now, I want to go into a series of information, and the reason I want to do this is because this is the first video I've made of the new year. So I thought it would be a really good service, not only for myself, but for all of you, to talk about what the energy is of this year and the energy of the last 18 months. But first, I want to read you something that I wrote, because it's pretty synchronistic how it ties in. And what I'm noticing is, no matter what I'm looking at, whether it's tarot, whether it's numerology, no matter what I'm looking at, it's all giving me the same answer. Okay, so here is what I wrote, and this is from December 27th. We are here, and we serve as a bridge that weaves ancient knowledge and wisdom together with other species of enlightened evolution. This is done through the crystal skulls and action blueprints. You guys know I've been talking about connecting to the crystal skulls for the past, I've been doing it for the past 6 or 7 weeks. I've been talking about it, just started talking about it. But we ourselves serve as a bridge that weaves ancient knowledge and wisdom together with the species that have chosen enlightened evolution. And that means the plant kingdoms, the animal kingdoms, the fairy kingdoms, and all of sentient life on this planet. Okay, so serving as a bridge that weaves ancient wisdom and knowledge together with all the species that have chosen evolution for self. This is done through the crystal skulls and action blueprints. We'll go back to 1212 if you haven't watched the 1212 video, so that I'm not repeating or going back over that information. Was all about the blueprints that we are now accessing. Okay, so we access these blueprints through our connection with the time wisdom keepers of the past. Now, that is why all these ancient people left these long and short calendars, so that we could comprehend in a mathematical, quantum, numerical, alphabetical way what they were leaving for us. Okay, so we access these blueprints through our connection with time and wisdom keepers of the past. We are now ready to begin the journey of accepting, wielding, safeguarding, and transferring this power of knowledge to now activate and release the ancient wisdom codes within ourselves and share those ancient wisdom codes with others. This right now is the time of great mission. We now receive the gift that will awaken the dormant light codes within. This is our soul calling for something greater. This is our soul calling us to ground in to the deepest levels of our personal truth. There is great strength and force behind us. This is a time of quiet reflection. Be in your stillness and your knowing, and carefully assess your present situation. Be conscious and be discerning of your intentions before you take any action. This is our time of deep spiritual integration. Be open and receptive to synchronicities that will lead you on a deep and meaningful inner quest to release the old patterns and release the old programmings and move out of procrastination. Downloading and awakening our ancient wisdom, sharing it with ourselves and each other has now begun. Okay, so now let's get into this energy, and hopefully I can make it make some sense without going into a 3 hour epilogue, as I feel like I've gotten really, really good at doing lately. Now, you can take this energy and apply it to yourself wherever it resonates and wherever you see fit. Okay. So, firstly, I want to talk about the energy of the North and South nodes, which is our major planetary energy. And the North and South node refers to where the moon and sun are aligned up with Earth in our current energy. Yeah. So let me not get ahead of myself because I'm really great at doing that. Okay. So if your natal chart falls directly into the energy we are now going through for the next 18 months, this is going to be a full nodal return, meaning a full nodal return as a return to your birthright, a deepening of you, a spiritual connection to yourself in your originality. Okay, so we come in, we have this incredible energy, and sometimes through life lessons of getting hurt or getting the door slammed in our face or getting our heart broken, sometimes we get away from who we truly are. Okay, so the North and South node is always giving us a planetary theme or a planetary temperature. And again, you can get married or get divorced or start a new job or do whatever you want to do when you want to do it. But you will find that, like my mother always used to say, Tina, don't force the universe. I must have been really something because she started telling me that at 8 years old. Okay, so let's go into this. Let me get my no drama llama. Hold on. Okay, so South Node. Again, that talks about the placement between the Earth, Moon, and Sun. When you were born, that would be what is your North and South Node in your birth chart. I'm going to make this easy to understand if you don't understand astrology. And as we know, my name is Tina. I'm not an astrologist. Hammond. These are things that just come through in the energy, and then I decide what's important to talk about. Okay, so for you, your own personal South Node is things that you've lessons, patterns, programs, gifts, talents from your past experience in this life and other lifetimes, if you believe in that. Whether you believe in it or not, it's still there. So the South Node is your patterns, your beliefs, your gifts, your traits, and your habits, your spiritual wisdom, and your truth that come from past experience. As a whole on the planet, that means that the South Node, when we're looking at a South Node for the planet, that gives us the planetary theme or planetary temperature as a whole for everybody. But you also have a specific South North Node in your chart. Okay, so South Node is energy of the past, passing energy, your traits, your habits, your patterns, what you've learned, your spiritual wisdom. Okay, and then the North Node for you, and the North Node in the planetary theme as well, is our future. Okay, so the North and South nodes change every 18 months. So what I'm going to talk about really briefly, so you can, in retrospect, get an idea by looking back at your life as I'm speaking about this, if you feel called to do so. So the nodes rotate and they give us a new energy every 18 months. Okay. So the nodes actually change. The last day of our current nodal situation is January 11th, 2025. So what I'm giving you now is so that you can look back retrospectively over the last 18 months and see where this fits in for you. Okay. And where this fits in as a planetary whole, because these North and South nodes also will be affecting not only all of humanity, but things that are happening on the world stage. Okay. So now this again is the theme or the temperature for us as a planet as a whole, and it lasts 18 months. Okay, so we have about 9 days left of this north south node. Okay, so for the past 18 months, minus 9 days here. So for the past 18 months, humanity's theme has been Libra south node, Aries north node. And again, the south node represents the past, the traits, the pattern. The north node represents the future, the balanced you that goes in the opposite direction of your habits and your patterns, both individually, within your relationships, and on the world stage as a whole. Okay, so Aries has been, for the past 18 months, the direction that we're supposed to be going in, leaving the traits and patterns and things from Libra behind. Now, let me tell you what that's been so you can be retrospective before I get into what this current energy is, because we always have a little bit of lag time or a little bit of shadow, right? We don't wake up on the 12th and say, wow, I'm going to complete the whole energy. It just completely annihilated, inebriated. It's completely changed and it's completely different. Okay, so the energy for the past 18 months, the passing energy that we were supposed to use to go in the opposite direction was Libra. Libra is about balancing, it's about mediating, it's about peacekeeping, it's about taking one for the team. Okay, but more specifically, it's all about the we and how we function in relationships with our job, with our partnerships, with our families, all of that. Okay, so Libra, balancing, mediating, peacemaking, taking one for the team. That's the energy that we have been asked to release for the last 18 months, or use that energy of Libra wisely to move in the opposite direction of Aries. Okay. And for some of you, that would have meant going through adjudication, lawsuits, perhaps ending contractual agreements. Okay, so anything like that. So you would be having a lawsuit or maybe going through litigation, something that is around contractual agreements. If there's something that's not working for you, that Libra energy of the past was there to say it's time for adjudication, or it's time to adjudicate, whether that be in the court system or just your integration of a new energy and letting go of the old passing energy. Okay, so maybe adjudication, lawsuits, perhaps ending contractual agreements. There's 9 days of this left. Okay, so Aries, as our future energy for the last 18 months, is the energy of fire. It's the energy of passion. It's the energy of firing up movement and going in a new direction for self. Remember, Libra is about sometimes even complacency, but taking one for the team, mediating, peacemaking, saying yes to things and maybe you don't want to. Okay, and the last 18 months of planetary nodal energy has been saying to yourself, get the heck out of that. Okay, Aries is all about me. And because Libra was our past or our passing energy, the past was about how we function together, how we function as a team. What does the other person want? What does the group want? What does my job want? What does my relationship want? Okay. So Libra, being our past energy, was about the we, and Aries energy is about me, or about you as an individual, as opposed to a team player, a peacemaker, or anything along those lines. Okay, so Aries for the last 18 months has been saying to you, what do you want? Where is your passion? What is your new direction? Okay. We only have about 2 weeks of this, 9 days actually. Okay, so we are switching nodes on January 12th of 2025. Now, I want to tell you, and hopefully you are actually going to notice the incredible synchronicity between numbers, geometry, alphabet, synchronicity, all of these things, because it was pretty mind-blowing to me. Okay, so let's continue. Libra is an air sign. Okay, Aries is a fire sign. So in that respect, if Libra is the south node, which means the past, and Aries, the fire sign, is the future, in that respect, what we have been asked to be doing for the past 18 months is to stop trying to solve challenges or problems in a cerebral Libra way, which can lead us to analysis paralysis. Okay. Libra is about air. It's about speaking. It's about thoughts. It's about communication. Okay. So switching over and saying, let's do the opposite. Okay. For the energy for the past 18 months is stop trying to solve your problems or challenges by thinking about it more. Stop trying to solve problems and challenges in a cerebral way. Because trying to solve all your problems or challenges in a cerebral way means that there's a really good chance that you're going to lead yourself into analysis paralysis. Okay. And analysis paralysis means that you have the inability to make a decision or take any action due to overthinking and overanalyzing a situation. Okay. So it means instead of being in that fiery Aries, I'm going to take action energy, instead of making a decision, we continue to research or look for solutions. Again, in a cerebral Libra way, we're being asked to stop looking to solve our problems or solve our challenges in a cerebral way and take actions. Okay. So trying to solve problems in a cerebral way is a Libra attribute anyway. So Libra is an air sign that represents our thoughts, our words, and our communication. The nodal placement is always asking us to use the past energy to move into the future energy. So, in a nutshell, for the last 18 months, the collective theme has been to use your thoughts, your words, and communication, all the wisdom you've gained, the things you've begun to comprehend in the last 18 months, and take that Aries action, right? Fire, action, movement. That's Aries. Okay. So using your thoughts, words, and your communication, all the things that you've learned over the last 18 months, and take action on the aspect of self, the aspect of me, to leave behind the we. Okay. What do other people want? How do I affect us? How do I affect the group? How do I affect this relationship? How do I affect this job? How can I be a better team player? How can I make peace? How can I negotiate with others in a situation? All of those words and thoughts need to be redirected to self. So again, how do we get out of the brain and drop in the heart and say to self, where is my fire energy? Where am I going? What is my future? What brings peace and satisfaction to me as opposed to others? Disregard what brings peace to others. Okay? Aries could be summed up by saying me, 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 and a little side of me. Okay? So, if you are going to balance in between those nodes, and the south and north nodes are always giving you the energy that's passing you and the energy that is your future. So if we were to sum up the past 18 months and we were to balance somewhere in between those two nodes, that would land you on, how do I use my thoughts? How do I use my words? How do I use my communication to get what I want? Okay. So we're changing nodes on January 11th is the last day. So January 12th, 2025, we're changing nodes. Now we're moving into Virgo Pisces. You have 9 days left to get through your litigation or decide to litigate, and again, you can do these things at any time. But that's why it's so helpful to understand what the planetary temperature or planetary theme is so that you can do things when the energy is the greatest. Okay. Again, you're an individual, you're a sovereign person, you have free will. You can go outside and plant bulbs, anytime you want to have them come up in the spring. Okay. But it's really freaking hard to shovel when the ground is frozen. Okay. So sometimes you're trying to litigate or trying to start a new job or a new geographical location or something when the ground is frozen. That's why I'm giving you the temperature of the energy update of this planet, so you'll understand when and how to move in a place of fertility. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so January 12th, 2025, we're switching nodes. I wanted you to go back and just basically understand what the last 18 months and 9 days left, what that energy was about and where it was coming from. Okay, so January 12th and the next 18 months onward, the planetary theme, the planetary lesson, the planetary mission as a whole is Virgo South Node, Pisces North Node. So, not to confuse you if you don't know much about North-South nodes, I'm making it as simple as I can for you, okay? So, planetary theme, planetary lesson, our planetary mission as individuals and as a humanity as a whole is Virgo South Node, Pisces North Node, which means Virgo is the past or the passing energy or the thing we take our gifts and lessons and wisdom from, and we go in the exact opposite sign on the zodiac. Now, again, if I explained everything in great detail, we'd be here for 12 hours. But what we're doing as a humanity, how we best move, how we best flow with the energy is to use the energy congruently as it is here with us now to do the opposite of what that passing energy is. Okay. So Virgo, the energy of the past or the passing energy that starts on January 12th, 2025 and goes for the next 18 months. Now, I understand this very well because I am a Virgo South Node and a Pisces North Node. And if that is also where you're at, this is a return to self. Okay, before heartbreak, before divorce, before adjudication, this is a total return to who you are, the energy of your birth. But it is also the planetary temperature or the planetary theme for everyone playing out for you in your life individually and on a world stage. Okay, so the energy of the past or the passing energy or the energy where we're being asked to take our knowledge and wisdom and move into the Pisces energy. Okay, so the Virgo energy, the earthly grounded passing energy, is the worker. Virgo is the worker. Virgo is the physical laborer. Does that sound right? Virgo is the worker, the physical laborer. Okay. It's Virgo is lessons learned in a physical, linear, grounded way. Okay, so our passing energy or the energy that of the past that we're being asked to assimilate, co-create, and create in this symbiotic quantum entanglement is to take the lessons, energy, and wisdom from the past of physical labor, linear time, being grounded, and use that to move into our creative side. Oh, hello, Rennie. Better late than never, right? I guess replay, man. You're like, we're already 45 minutes. I can't help it. I'm trying to be like David Wilcock. Not really. I didn't even watch his videos lately, but yeah. So past energy, the worker, physical labor, lessons learned in a physical, linear, grounded way. Okay. Pisces is the opposite. Now we're doing this not because Tina is saying to do this. We're doing this because the sky map is your own personal map for fulfillment. It's your own personal map for destiny. So things are a lot easier for not trying to dig in frozen soil and plant bulbs, just like things are a lot easier if we're taking this past winter energy, I almost said winter, past energy and wisdom and move into the opposite direction, okay? Pisces. Pisces is the dreamer, the romantic, the intuitor, the psychic, the mystic, Okay. So how do we move from that earth energy, Virgo, into that water energy, Pisces? How do we take our lessons and learn to go with the flow? Be like water and surrender to the flow. Okay. So this is me to the core. And I want to tell you, I've started doing things very differently. And this is because I always feel the energy before it shows up. Okay. I'm really tired of that Virgo side in my chart. So Virgo is my south node, just like we are in now, but I also have other placements in Virgo. Okay. My chart is nothing but a mixture of Scorpio, Virgo, and Libra. Okay. So I'm trying to balance my I'm trying to balance Libra, my psychotic, sensual, mystical side, in a very organized, rigid way, I guess we could say, because that's pretty much what my chart looks like. Okay, so Virgo South Node. Let me tell you what the energy is coming off the South Node. And the coming off the South Node means it's the past or passing energy. I'm just trying to make sure that I don't lose people here. Okay, so Virgo South Node energy. What is that? Okay, so whether you're a personally in your chart, you're a Virgo South Node like me, makes no difference, because again, this is a planetary theme or the planetary lesson or the planetary mission or the planetary temperature right now, Virgo. Okay, so what is the energy that's passing us? What is the energy in the past that where we're balancing, mediating ourselves out and going into a different direction? Okay, so the theme of Virgo here is perfectionism, rigid routines, physical work, hyperproductivity, self-criticism, and assumption that it's safer to do physical work and it's safer to earn than it is to receive. Now, let me put this very quite simply, easily. Now, let me show you how this can affect you. Okay, let's talk about for a second on a personal level. Let me explain what I'm saying. Okay, so Virgo South Node, again, rigidity, perfectionism, hyperproductivity, self criticism. Okay, so let me explain to you how that works in layman's terms through the energy that we use when we're born. This started when I was probably in 7th grade. I don't remember when I started singing. I think I might have come out of the birthing canal humming a tune. I'm not really sure. In 7th grade, because I grew up in a house of music, we had a giant stereo, which we could pretty much blast and play, drowned out the entire zip code. And then we probably had 3 other, if we are old enough to remember the 70s and the 80s, cassette decks. Okay. Now, if you're my age, and I know Rennie is, and Colette and Rennie, you guys are pretty close to my age here, you might remember this. So Virgo South Node placement as a planetary whole or as an individual, have you focused on that rigidity, that perfectionism, that hyper productivity, that self-criticism? So when I was a child in about 7th grade, this is when this started for me, I was so freaking fascinated with music. I would steal the stereo. I would listen to it at night. I would try to keep up with every artist and every song and memorize all the lyrics to everything. I was absolutely freaking obsessed with music. Nothing's any different now either. Okay. And ask my ex-boyfriend, Dave Matthews. Okay. Because for the last 5 years, I've pretty much been listening to different kind of hertz and frequencies and things like that. I got totally away from listening to my boyfriend, Dave Matthews, sing me to sleep. I missed him so much. I've been running to Dave Matthews for 3 days. Okay. Less about my boyfriend, Dave Matthews, and more about me. In 7th grade, I started this thing where I would sit and wait for hours and hours and hours for the song that I wanted to record. I would hit the play button, I would record it. And after I was done recording that, I would then take two boom boxes. I would take one with the tape I just recorded. I would sit right next to it. I would sing it, and I would record it on a blank cassette tape. Okay. I would spend hours and hours and hours after waiting and taping the song and singing it and re-singing it and re-singing it and picking it apart and being hyper vigilant and hyper rigid and hyper perfectionist, not only about the sound of my voice, but also about, okay, I tried it being 2 inches from the stereo. I've tried it sitting in between one stereo and recording it on the other stereo. So what I'm saying is, this is what Virgo is like. Again, perfectionism, rigidity, physical work, hyper productivity, super critical, all of those things. Okay. And here's the thing, even after I spent, 3 or 4 hours trying to get the song to record, then I'd spend 3 or 4 hours trying to figure out the perfect placement of the voice, or I didn't like the way I inflected on something, or something was louder than something. I'd spend hours and hours and hours trying to make the perfect recording. And even when I thought it was as good as I could get without a sound system, or without a microphone or any kind of equipment at all, I would listen to it over and over again and still think I took a breath there, or could I perfect that here, or there's too much intonation there. And even when I got it as close as I could to what I thought was perfection, I would never share it with anybody, or I would share it with one person. I think growing up, my whole life's existence, for decades, I did sing in a choir, but singing solo I would not do. But what I'm telling you here is, that's the energy of Virgo, right? Just being an absolute perfectionist. Okay. So even after I would get it as good as I thought I could get it, for just being in a room and trying to use stereo to stereo and a tape off the radio, I still didn't share it with anybody. And those tapes that I made, I probably shared those with 2 or 3 people my entire life. And one of my friends still has a tape of me singing from like 1991 or 92 or something like that, which is crazy. He sent me a recording of it a couple years ago, and I was like, wow. Okay. So the energy of Virgo is, I must work, I must toil, everything must be linear, must be physical labor. Okay. And it's easier to accomplish or receive trust or money or accolades or accomplishment through physical work. Okay. So there's this belief in this Virgo, trust is not given, but earned. Okay. So it's also control, the feeling, the need to control oneself and one's life, or I won't be loved, I won't be trusted, without actually earning it. So we're going into unworthiness, believing that your value is measured by hard work. So you're believing that your value is measured by hard work. You're believing that your value is measured by labor, by personal accomplishments, by external validation, external confirmation. Okay. And it also talks about feeling like, oh, I need to be available whenever I'm needed. And I've always had a hard time with this. My phone dings and it's like, okay, but I'm so much better now. But it used to be like I could be in the middle of holding a pose in Qigong and my phone rings and I got to go see who it is, right? Oh, someone might need something. Okay. So again, that's the energy we're trying to move out of. So this is a fantastic energy that we're moving into, Pisces North Node. Our future theme as a collective is Pisces. Okay. So Pisces in its opposition is literally things that cannot be earned. So while Virgo thinks they have to earn everything through labor and toil, linear time, and accomplishments, Pisces is the quite opposite. It's everything that you can bring into or magnetize into your experience that can't be earned through physical labor or linear time or study or outside validation. Okay. Pisces is all about beauty, whimsicalness, romance, intuition, mysticism, connectedness, and self-acceptance. These are things, again, that cannot be earned through physical labor or through linear time. Pisces North Node represents the ability we have to heal through self acceptance, through self understanding. And that only comes when we know and understand our pain. Where does my pain come from? Okay, where does your pain come from? How can we become the healer? How can we become the mystic? How can we become the psychic? How can we become the intuitive, the dreamer, the poet, the musician, right? Pisces North Node is trying to help you comprehend what the pain is trying to teach you, because without the lesson, you have nothing, right? So we may feel the pain itself is completely useless, but it serves a real and valiant purpose here. The purpose here is to forgive self and to forgive others. And you may want to go back and maybe re-listen to this. I know it's going to end up being long because I've almost been here for an hour, but it's mind-blowing whether you look at what year we're at numerologically, where we are in Chinese astrology. It's all the same energy at the same time. And what I'm telling you and what I told you at the beginning was these ancients that I believe for millions of years have been making calendars based on sacred geometry, which then lines up with everything. So it doesn't matter whether you're looking at astrology, whether you're looking at the Chinese zodiac, whether you're looking at the tarot, they all line up in perfect symmetry. Okay. So not everybody is an astrologist. Tina, you're not an astrologist. Hammond, as I love to say, is not an astrologist, right? But I can look at the numbers and get the geometry and come in here and tell you about it without being one. Okay. So these are the things as a collective. Okay, so individually, you're asking to address these things. Okay, where's my dreamer? Where's my mystic? Where's my psychic? Where's my romantic self, as opposed to my rigid self, my organized self, right? Yeah. So, as a collective temperature, as a collective theme, this is what we're being asked to address. So, now our future is about choosing our creative, our nurturing, our dreaming, intuitive, mystic self over our physical, laboring, linear self. It's pretty fantastic. Okay. So, this time of Pisces, our new future direction, it's about choosing compassion, empathy, and loyalty. It's about acknowledging our romantic, creative, intuitive, inspirational hopes and dreams. It's about using our own personal emotional depth and our imagination to move us along on a spiritual journey. Okay. So, Virgo, as our past, our south node, our past or our passing energy, is ruled by Mercury. Well, we know what Mercury is because we know what happens in Mercury retrograde. My microphone stops working. My ability to type stops working. Planes get delayed, right? So when Mercury goes in retrograde, it affects everything that involves communication, whether that's email, whether that's, talking to the control tower at the airport, doesn't matter. So past energy, Virgo, is all about the connection to Mercury, the planet Mercury. Mercury is about communication, but Pisces is ruled by Neptune, which means exploring the unknown heights of dreams and creativity. But more importantly, it's a time of listening. So, our past or passing energy of Virgo, Mercury, I will talk, I will write, I will speak, I will get up here and do this soliloquy, is saying to you, balance that out. Take the time to make sure that you're listening, right? To your creative projects, to your partners, to your family, whatever, okay? It's mind-blowing when you look at all of this, how the numbers, the alphabet, the synchronicity, the astrology, even of all these different things lines up perfectly to what is going on now. Okay. So Pisces is about the amplification of our mystic side. It's about the amplification not only of our mystic side, but working in a non-linear way as opposed to working in a physical or non-physical way. So if you want to acclimate your past energy of the planet, temperature of the planet as a whole, speaking, doing physical labor, linear time, and mediate that somewhere until you find yourself as a creative, as the psychic, as the intuitive, as the mystic, as the songwriter. Okay, it's about using our creativity and imagination to find out where we feel like where we belong. Virgo says, logically, I belong here. Logically, I should do this. Logically, I should think this way. And Pisces says, no, feel into this. Feel into where you belong. Where do you feel that you spiritually belong? Where do you feel like you creatively belong? Where do you feel like you romantically belong? Where do our imagination and our creativity feel to take us that is loyal to self? It's not about passing energy of speaking and doing. It's listening, it's introspecting, it's writing, and it's using the lessons of pain from the past to say, how did I get here? How can I transform? Right? Okay. So again, where do we feel we belong romantically? Where do we feel we belong spiritually, not logically? Where do I feel I belong on this planet? What partnerships do I feel like I belong in? What sector of mission or job do I feel like I belong in? Okay. So where do our imagination and our creativity feel to take us when we do that deep dive into self loyalty? Okay. It's about using our lessons and our pain to express ourselves. It also asks you to confront what story you're telling of self. Okay. So you're really going to be looking at introspectively, what story am I telling about myself? Am I saying I'm a divorced person? Am I saying I'm a sick person? Am I saying getting up in a room full of people in a 12-step program and saying I'm an alcoholic? I believe that is a great program. But to keep reiterating the fact that, I'm an alcoholic or I'm a drug addict or I'm a sex addict or I'm a gambling addict only perpetuates that which we are trying to heal past and move beyond. The question here is, am I telling the correct story of myself? Am I telling the story of how I really feel? Will other people understand me? Will other people understand how I feel? Where do I personally feel heard? These are the themes, okay? Pisces is about feeling the depth of self. It's about elevating ourselves through feelings. So, example of that, maybe you feel like shit, or you just, went through litigation, or maybe you had a shitty breakup, all right, or something that really hurt you, okay? Physical things like, running, swimming, whatever can do it. But in a Pisces sort of the way, the best thing to do is sit down and be Taylor Swift, okay? Write some nasty gram about your ex and tell the whole world how they were and let them connect the dots like every Scorpio wants to do and figure out which ex-boyfriend it was that, did you dirty, right, Taylor? So our introspection and pain through writing, through poetry, through songwriting, through spoken word, or maybe karaoke or whatever you want to do. Okay. It's to elevate ourselves through this feeling. And I predict this will be a profound year of books, poetry, songwriting, movies, and attaining peaceful, aligned relationships. Okay. The next 18 months is about changing your life according to where you feel you belong. Okay. We're done thinking about it like a Libra. We're done procrastinating or sitting on the fence or trying to make things fair for everybody else. Okay. We're done overanalyzing. We're done with the analysis paralysis. We're done being a perfectionist. Okay. We're done being a physical laborer, linear time thinking, physical labor, equating I must work, I must work, I must work, I must toil, labor, and work. The next 18 months will be about changing your life according to where you feel you belong. Okay. And as we all do this together, many things are going to shift. Okay. You're going to be adjusting the new people. You're going to be adjusting the new jobs, new creative endeavors. You're going to be adjusting to new people, new relationships, new situations, right? As humanity as a whole, as we dive deep down into our inner Taylor Swift, our inner songwriter, our inner poet, we will start speaking in a more compassionate, empathetic, poetic way to the people we work with, to the people in our family, to the people that we are in relationships with or want to be in relationships with. Okay. So how do we take all that we have learned from Virgo in a linear, physical way and creatively imagine a brilliant new version of ourselves and our life? How we do that is we use our earthly Virgo energy, okay? The energy of tenacity, structure, grounded, linear, routine, to take a deep dive into the dreamy, creative, romantic, poetic, mystic, fulfilling life that we want to create. We step out of our rigidity. We step out of our perfectionism to embrace the deep feelings, to embrace the inner poet, the inner songstress, the inner songwriter, okay? To embrace the deep feelings of our inner poet, our imperfect, messy, artist, softer, deeper side. Okay, so your personal theme may also coincide with this. Like I said, my personal south node is Virgo. My personal north node is Pisces. That means it's a pivotal, full natal return year for me. Okay, so I may have that energy more affluent. Again, Tina, not an astrologist. Hammond, look at where Pisces and Virgo are in your chart to see where perhaps you need to let go of perfectionism, rigidity, and move into the more Taylor Swift sort of side of yourself. Or Dave Matthews. I mean, I guess we don't all want to channel Taylor Swift, right? I much prefer Dave Matthews myself. But even though I'm not, necessarily a fan of Taylor Swift, she is incredibly talented at taking the bullshit that she's had, because she was raised with money, right? She didn't have a hard life. So, anything that she's feeling deep into and writing a song about, it's going to be a relationship. It's going to be what somebody else did to her or somebody else said to her. Okay. So your personal destiny is found in your north south node. So people think sometimes, well, God's going to show up or Archangel Michael or my higher self's going to drop down and say, you know what, Tina, you're really good at this and you're good at this and you suck at this and this is what you're supposed to do. It's what your mission, what your job is, changes every 18 months a little bit with the energy. But whatever that is can be found in your north and south node. So people think that someone is going to, whatever deity they believe in, or maybe higher self, drop down with a horn or maybe an majestical choir and say, hey, this is what you're supposed to be doing. This is your mission. But your mission is literally anything that's found in your north node. So if your north node is Pisces, like me, you were meant to be, perhaps a gardener, a landscaper, a songstress, a poet, a lyrical genius, a gangster rapper, whatever. Okay. Yes. Now, the synchronicity with which these things all pattern themselves is very, very mind-blowing to me. Okay. So, again, the whole purpose of the next 18 months in a nutshell is you take what you have learned in a linear physical labor sort of way and creatively imagine and create poetically, romantically, mystically, psychically the life of your dreams. Okay. And you use that earthly Virgo tenacity, structure, groundedness, linear routine, and dive into that dreamy, creative, romantic, poetic, mystical, fulfilling life. We step out of our rigidity. We step out of our perfectionism to embrace the deep feelings, our inner poet, our imperfect, messy artist self, our softer side. Okay. So with the nodes, oh wow, 1 hour, 11 minutes and 11 seconds. Wow. Okay. So the last, I am so hypersensitive. There's an eyelash in my bra. I can feel it, and it disturbs me until I get it out, which is difficult when I'm walking and it's 18 degrees and I have 18 layers on. Okay, but that's how I am, and I keep feeling that something's on me. So that's what I'm doing over here as I'm squirming around. Okay, so one thing to say, if I told you that story of waiting hours to record that song and then sitting between two things, trying to make it perfect, and then sharing it with someone every once a decade. Hello, Susan. So I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to return to self. Now, some of you may have noticed, and I often come on here and do videos without makeup and stuff. Okay. I live by myself. The majority of my life, I have lived by myself. I've always loved to sing. I've always loved to rap. I've always loved to dance. And so I may be running around this house, singing, dancing, rapping, doing whatever to myself, with myself, by myself. And this morning, I was laughing so hard because I was talking to myself after Qigong, and I looked in the mirror and I was like, are you for real? Are you for real? For real? Are you shiz dizzly real? Are you shiz dizzly whiz whizzly really for real? And I was like, oh, I'm going to record this and I'm going to put it on social media. For a second, Virgo popped in and Virgo said, you're sweating. You've been doing Qigong. You haven't brushed your hair. You have no makeup on. And I was like, nope, I am doing it. And I did it anyway. Now, you may not know this about me, but between Thanksgiving and Christmas, every single year, Gangster's Paradise and sometimes a host of other things is played at the family parties. And me and my family, more specifically, me and my older sister, go at what I can only describe as a rap showdown. This year's Christmas present from my slightly older sister, I say that because she's my Irish twin. She's 11 months older. This is what I got from my sister for Christmas this year. Freaking hilarious. Okay. So I let the emotion of where I was, is this for real? Are you shiz dizzily for real right now? I just went ahead and recorded and put it out. Sweaty, no makeup, hadn't brushed my hair, nothing, right? I was born like this. I've always been creative. I've always turned everything into a song. I have another song that I want to do, and I haven't done that yet. Oh, your North Node is in Aries. Okay, so you had a full nodal return the last 18 months. The South Node in Libra and North Node in Aries. Aries. I said Larry. I was thinking Libra and Aries, and I said Larry. But that's important for the creative, and it's important temperature and theme, not only for me making a nodal return, but for everybody on a planetary scale. Do I really need to think about that fact that I haven't brushed my hair and Mr. Right or Mr. Right now, right? Because I was like, oh no, I'm so like turning this into some sort of rap song, whatever. And I just recorded it and I just put it on social media. I would have never done that in the past. I would have been like, look at yourself, check the sound. Have you made the video first? Have you listened to the sound before you put it up? Nope. I just made it and put it up. You can expect a lot more crazy things as far as that comes from. Yeah, because I wrote another little ditty called even though I don't know you that well, I know you like your eggs just like I do. I know you like your eggs just like I do. Okay, I won't share that right now. But I'm going to start doing this. This is a planetary theme. It's definitely a theme for me as well. How do we turn ourselves in this mystical, romantic, deep Pisces, psychic, intuitive, mystic life? Okay. By using our balance from the other node as well. Your destiny is in your north node. It's not a specific thing. Tina's not supposed to be a doctor, a lawyer, a babysitter, right? We are all supposed to be, we came here to be an alchemist in this time, and the alchemy that we are making is found in our north node. So let's say that your north node is Libra, for example. Okay, so you are supposed to do something if you're a Libra north node, your mission would be to do something fair and just and honest, and perhaps even in litigation or for the court system. But basically, what you're doing is giving justice or standing up for the little guy, right? Helping people who can't help themselves. That just kind of gives you a little idea. So you can see if you had a North Node in Libra, it's not like, oh, you're supposed to be a lawyer or, oh, you're supposed to be a doctor. It's just broad range of energy that says with the Libra energy, you're supposed to be fair and balanced and perhaps judicate for the little guy, stand up for the little guy. Okay, so the last 18 months spent with Libra South Node and Aries North Node. The last 18 months have been fire, Aries, and air, Libra. Okay, that's the yang. Last 18 months have been fire and air. That's a yang energy. It's also hot, dry, and intellectual. Okay, this is amazing too, because look at how these things switch. Fire and air are yang. They are hot, they are dry, and they are intellectual. Now, we're moving into Virgo Pisces. Okay, Virgo is earth, Pisces is water. So we literally went from yang, air, fire, to yin, earth, water. Everything is set up like this. The whole universe and everything the ancients were dropping in that wisdom to us to co-create and create things, it was all based on the elements and the numbers and the long and short calendars and all those millions of things that we probably maybe don't have the time to study. Okay, Aries and Libra is yang. It's hot, it's dry, it's intellectual. Pisces and Virgo is earth and water. It's soul. It's bringing the soul down in the body. How did I feel when you broke up with me, right? How did I feel when my neighbor yelled at me because my music's too loud? That hasn't happened yet, but I'm surprised because Dave Matthews was really loud in here last night. So, taking that soul, that water, earth energy, which is soul, the yin, okay? What is the water, earth, soul energy? What is that yin energy? It's human. It's dirty. It's down in the mud. It's complicated. And it's being absolutely captivated by life. I'm going to be on here for 3 hours. This is unfreaking real. Combustible. Oh, I got to stand up for a second. Okay. So sorry. Okay, now here's what blew my mind even more. So if we look at a number 7 year, the 7 year would correlate with the card in the major arcana called the Chariot. The Chariot is about balancing your male and female. It's about balancing everything so that you can move forward over external obstacles with ease and grace. Number 8 year. And the year of the dragon. Everything, when you look at this stuff, you guys, and you can say, oh, I'm looking at numerology, or oh, I'm looking at the zodiac and Western astrology, or I'm looking at Chinese. I looked at it 3 ways to freaking Sunday today, and it was all the same. That's why I wanted this to be the first video of the year. Okay, year of the snake in Chinese astrology. Let's go for this. First of all, the now south node, which starts in 9 days, and Virgo, number 9 in the major arcana, is the Hermit. It's everything I just said to you. Okay. Now, the year of the snake in Chinese astrology. What is that about? It's about transformation. It's about shedding old skin. This is a symbol of you yourself, but also humanity emerging after hibernation. Well, what is the freaking hermit? The hermit is going inside, shining the inner light on the inside of you. What are my dreams? What are my hopes? Where do I want to go? Why am I standing on the top of the mountain in the frickin' snow, shining the light on myself? It's so that I can emerge after hibernation. Number 9 is Virgo. It's our south node at the same time as the year of the snake. Now, and a year number 9. It's all the same. It's all sacred geometry. That's why I wanted my first video of the year to be telling you what the energy is for the year in the next 18 months. All right, year of the snake, transformation, shedding of old skin. This is a symbol of you yourself and humanity emerging after hibernation. It represents the unveiling of hidden things, not only within you, but within the world. The snake stands for movement after stagnation. What is the hermit? What is number 9? What is that Virgo energy? Well, Virgo is the hermit in tarot. Virgo is number 9. None of these things, all of these things were designed with ancient wisdom so that if you only looked at tarot but didn't look at astrology, you would get it. If you only looked at numerology but didn't look at astrology, you would get it. Or maybe if you looked at all of them, you would get it all together. Year of the snake, shedding the skin, transformation, emerging after shedding the light internally on what is self, coming out of hibernation. That's Virgo. That's the hermit. That's number 9 in the tarot. It's all the freaking same. Transmutation, shedding the skin. This is you. This is humanity. This is coming out of hibernation. It's revealing things that have been hidden. It's movement after stagnation. It also represents new and expected, being witnessed by you and by humanity. Now, let's go into the number 9. This is 2025. In numerology, you add things and you reduce them down to a single number. Everything in numerology gets reduced down to a single number, unless it's number 11, 22, or 33, which are master teachers and master builder numbers. Those you do not reduce. Next year is a 33 on 12/12. That's going to be mind-blowing, I can assure you. Okay, so the year is a number 9. Now, we just talked about what the snake was. Okay, now I'm going to read you what number 9 is about. It's the same freaking thing. Number 9, completion, attainment, fulfillment, the end of the cycle and start of a new cycle. It's about turning our past experiences, what we've shed the light on internally, the hermit, number 9, and incorporating those lessons, gaining clarity over our past, and using that knowledge, that wisdom to start new, to create new. We should be making meaningful and informative decisions. It means we use our reflection, our enlightenment, our Virgo, number 9, hermit energy in the tarot to create personal fulfillment. Number 9 is about love. It's about focusing on self-love and inviting ourselves to become the most loyal loving version of ourselves to ourselves and to other people, giving back to the whole, to the world, unveiling, coming out of hibernation, and coming out of introspection so that we can pop out into the world stage in very charitable ways. Take the wisdom and the knowledge that you have gained to show up in the world. I predict paper sales are going to go way, way up, right? Because the need, the desire to write things down, to journal, to release our inner poet this year is all about creativity. Now, 9 is not without challenges. And the challenges of number 9 is it's a lot of change. It's a lot of shedding of skin. It's a lot of emerging of secrets in our lives and on the world stage. It's a lot of revelation. It's a lot of popping out to show up in the world in the way that serves you and others. Now, sometimes shedding the skin is hard. Sometimes change is hard. Sometimes unveiling yourself or listening to other people or the world stage reveal or unveil certain things to you is not easy. So that's why I say there are challenges with number 9 as well. There are challenges with any number. But the challenge is, firstly, sometimes change is hard. Sometimes we get excited and we want to overextend ourselves. The phone rings and we think we have to get it, right? But most importantly, the number 9 calls us to forgive not only ourselves, but others, which humans can sometimes struggle with letting go. But when you let go and you forgive oneself and you forgive others, you lighten the load so much. People have said to me, that person did horrific things to me, Tina. Right. But I'm not asking you to go get married to them. I'm not asking you to call and apologize to them. What I'm simply saying is by forgiving, you're not doing anything for them. You're lightening your own load. It's incredibly fascinating how this comes to me. So I had planned on talking about the past North and South node that are wrapping up in the next 9 days and our current temperature, our current theme as an individual and as a humanity on this planet, and that being the new North and South node. And then I planned on talking about Year of the Snake and number 9, but I realized Year of the Snake and number 9 had the exact same description. Well, then I thought, well, wait a second. Let me look at last year. Because this is crazy, you guys. I'm telling you, if you don't do astrology, it'll bleed through numerically. If it doesn't bleed through numerically, maybe it'll bleed through in a tarot way, even if you're only a watcher or maybe not exactly a connoisseur of tarot. But listen to this. Last year was 2024. Okay. And so I said everything gets reduced to a singular number. So 2 + 2 + 4, right? What is that? That's 8. Okay. So last year was an 8. Now, when you look at 8, you go to the tarot, and 8 is the major arcana for strength card. So number 8, the major arcana for the strength card, what does that mean? It's a symbol of your growth. It's a symbol of your inner power. It's a symbol of your, animal instinct and your lust for life, your inner power, your good fortune. Your growth, your strength, your power, your good fortune. Okay. And I'm making these short so that I don't stand here for 5 hours. Number 8 last year was a symbol of growth, strength, inner power, and good fortune. Okay. So again, same thing in the major arcana in the tarot. It's the strength card, which has the exact same definition as does the energy of 8, as does last year, which is the year of the 8, which is the year of the dragon in Chinese astrology. Okay. So whether we're looking at number 8 itself, whether we're looking at number 8 in the strength card in the tarot, whether we're looking at 2024 being reduced down to an 8, it doesn't matter, because the definition of an 8 year is exactly the same definition of the dragon energy, right? Just like the definition of number 9 is the exact same definition of the snake year. Okay. And then next year we move into, in the tarot, 10, Wheel of Fortune. Hey, here's my sky map. What the hell's my destiny and where the hell I'm going? But it's a 10, so it reduces to a 1. And It just keeps starting over and going over. It's an incredible sky map, numerology, whether it's numbers, whether it's letters, whether it's numerical, whether it's alphabetical, whether it's astrological, whether it's tarot. Okay, it's all the same thing. Number 8 is a symbol of growth, strength, inner power, and fortune. Okay, so the dragon year has the same exact definition. As I said, the dragon year is all about inner strength, personal power, good luck, good fortune, money, resets, things like that. It's all exactly the same. And it's very, very, very mind blowing to me. Okay. Do I want to stay on here for 3 hours? Probably not. In summation, here, this will be a year incredibly of you stepping out as an individual and saying, this is my deep dive into me. This is poetically me. This is rapper me or songstress me or dancer ball spinner me or whatever it is for you. But this year's it's about reciprocity. Okay. It's about giving things that are reciprocal. Like, I'm not going to keep giving things to you if you're not giving to me. I'm not going to keep calling you. I'm not going to keep sending you songs. If you don't respond to me, then you don't respond to me. This is about being reciprocal. It's about being sharing the spotlight with other humans that want to work for the planetary evolution and the consciousness expansion. Now, I will say, if you follow these energy guidelines or this energy theme or the planetary temperature, and you work to step out of perfectionism, rigidicism, if you step out of your linear physical labor self and drop into your Taylor Swift or drop into your Dave Matthews or drop into your lyrical rapping self, you're going to see the things in your life that are not built on a solid foundation crumbling in front of you. Okay. So I only give to you if you give to me, if you're reciprocal. I only send music if you say, wow, that was really heartfelt. That was really deep. And maybe you respond with words, or maybe you just listen, because this year is all about listening. And maybe you just listen and send a song back. Okay. But this year is about shining the light on what does it mean to be in reciprocal relationships with our government, with our family, with our lovers, with Dave Matthews, whatever. What does it mean to give and receive equally? What does equal reciprocity feel like? How empowered, how moving, how empowered, how deep, how mystical is it when there's an equal give and take? And when you follow along in this energy, anything that you want to create is going to happen really fast, because you're removing whatever obstacle that you have in your life and you're replacing it. You guys don't have any idea, and even though I've tried to explain to you how hard it is for me to wake up, be sweaty, do Qigong, have a song come to me, and just go on there and just record the song and put it on social media without even brushing my hair. That's part of who I am, and that's part of who I've always been, and that's part of our planetary theme and our planetary temperature, is to drop down into our pain, right? And use that pain, use those lessons, use that physical work, use that linear time to drop out into no time, to non-linear time. What does it feel like when you felt you're in love and you want to sit down and you're writing a song about how glorious it feels to be in love? There is no time, or you lose track of time, where there's no physical labor, there's no linear time, it's non-linear, it's heart space, it's a deep dive into that Pisces, mystic, intuitive, snake shedding its skin, empathetic, loving inner poet that we all are. Thank you so much for being here. So much love to you. And I hope that this was helpful. If there's something you want to have these videos about, if you have ideas, if you have questions, if you have anything that you have, send those to me. And I know this really didn't seem like a lot, and I know it really doesn't seem like anything that the people that want me to talk about clones and alien abductions and all of that. But the thing is, and I do understand that as far as a social media contributor, I am not a marketable person, right? Because I could be singing one day and rapping one day and talking about clones and artificial intelligence versus sovereign intelligence one day, and I could be rapping about it the next. But the way we remove any obstacle or any physical limitation, the way we achieve success and accomplishment is not necessarily always in physical linear ways. It's time to step out of physical labor, out of linear thinking, out of hot, dry energy, and dive down deep into the water earth energy, which is the soul, which is the yin, so that we can create and co-create. Because in that reciprocal energy, we're putting the light on how beautiful does it feel, whether it's a relationship or family dynamic or mission, that you can give and take, and you have this equal flow where you guys just make this thing happen, and it's beautiful. You know where the movement is, you know where it's going, you know that the spotlight is on two people or a group of people or us as a world stage, getting out of our logical linear worker self and dropping into our intuitive mystic poet self. Thank you so much for being here. If you are looking for a north-south node destiny reading, I am here for you. Also, I am still doing the same tarot special, which I've been doing for a year, and that is without any written notes or without a written transcript. We have like 45 minutes to an hour to talk through phone or video chat or however you want to receive that, and do unlimited cards or unlimited questions. And I've had people show up that really weren't even that interested in the cards. You wanted to talk about numerology and things like that. And for me, numerology and tarot are not separate. But if you're looking for those things, you can message me directly through Messenger or put a comment here. I've been here for a really long time. 1 hour and 37 minutes. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me. If you have questions, if you have inspired ideas, if you have subjects that you want to delve into, make a comment once the video comes back up, because these comments stay in the live chat, but they do not show up after the video finishes posting. Okay, thank you so incredibly much for being here. Dive into your inner Dave Matthews, or crash into Dave Matthews, pun intended, or your inner Taylor Swift, or whatever it is, your inner creative poet. It's time. So much love.